Hello there everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well. It feels so crazy to say that because it has been a hot minute since I actually introduced and uploaded a video, and by a hot minute I mean it's been about 8 or 9 months by the time this goes up. Because I've had such a big sabbatical from doing this, I figured the best way for me to come back is by doing a little mukbang Q&A situation, big catch up, where I'm at, where I've been, why I've been gone, what I'm doing now, and just almost reintroduce myself a little bit whilst answering some of the questions that I've been getting quite a lot recently. So let's do this. I've picked myself up a Subway. I have already started it. I know that's not really mukbang worthy. I'm meant to taste it and be like, oh, that's really nice, but I have already had a few bites because I'm ravenous. But I've got a 6-inch on hearty Italian bread. I've got chicken breast, peppers, lettuce, cucumber, some mayonnaise. I've got a lemonade and I've got a rainbow cookie as well, because you can't go to Subway and not get a cookie. And I can confirm it is delicious. I hope that's not all around my teeth now before I start talking some more. If it is, there's not really much I can do about it other than apologise now. Anyway, before I get into some questions, I think it would be a good idea to give you all a bit of background on me and what my channel used to look like, as I say. So I used to post twice a week over on YouTube, and my videos were just about me, just about my life. It was a weekly vlog of me at home, just chilling, looking after the house. I worked in the mental health team, so a lot of my content would be focused around mental health. It's something I'm quite passionate about. And then it would be about my other passions too. So I like travelling, and I travel a lot. I love charity shopping. There's nothing better than a good charity shop with me and a haul at the end. I love reading. So it was basically just a channel of me documenting my life, and I'm so glad that I did, because now I have so many years worth of memories to look back on in such a huge amount of detail, which I'm so grateful for. But then 8 months ago I posted my last YouTube video, and I haven't really posted anything since. And I'm sure a lot of you will already know, if you're sitting down to watch this, that the reason for that is because my wife Charlie passed away at the very end of February this year, and it was, I don't know, I don't even have any words for it. Life is a little bit like this, and has been a little bit like this, and so filming a YouTube video at that time wasn't my priority. As time went on, there were absolutely times that I've really wanted to pick up the camera and to do this again, because this is such a hobby of mine, and it's something that makes me me, and I think you lose sight of that in all of this mess that is grief. So I've really wanted to pick this up a few times, and there have been a few occasions that I have vlogged. So I vlogged my trip to Munich in August when I went to see a Dan in concert. I vlogged the trip to Brighton, and I did do a weekly vlog last week as well. So I have a few bits that I'll upload after this which are older, if you like, and then we'll move back into real time. I miss this. Ultimately, I miss doing this. I love this, and it's something that I want back in my life. I think this will be really good for me, not just to carry on documenting things like I used to do, but to encourage me to get up and to get out and to do the things that I used to enjoy, which again is something that you lose sight of. So I'm back on YouTube, we're here, I'm so happy to be here. And I'm excited to see where this journey will take me, and to bring you guys all along with me, just like I used to do. I feel like that's probably been a really rambly introduction, but I think it's probably needed, so I'm just going to leave it as it is. The mess that I have made in this car is not pleasant at all. It is absolutely covered in crumbs. I'm trying to tell myself that it's okay because it needed a clean anyway, but now it really needs a clean, and it's at the point where I'm embarrassed to take it to the valet like I normally would. Do you know, over the last few months I was literally reliant on Pepsi Max at points. I was having about 4 or 5 cans a day, especially whilst I was at work, just to see me through, which is absolutely terrible. I've decided to kind of move away from it a bit, which I've found quite helpful. This is a Sprite, and the last few times I've had a takeaway I've got a Sprite, and I've really underestimated how much I love a good lemonade, so I'm happy to be back on the lemonade hype. But let's carry on, shall we, because I was on a roll and I feel like I'm just blabbering now. I'm going to answer some questions that I've been getting a lot recently, and by that I mean questions that I've got over on TikTok, because even though I stopped filming and posting over here on YouTube, I actually increased massively the amount that I was posting on TikTok, and now somehow I've got like 170,000 something best friends over on TikTok. I really enjoy it over there, and I think the reason I carried on posting over there is because shorter form content is not only more digestible for the viewer, but it's more digestible and easier, I suppose, for me to create as the creator. I don't know if I'm explaining myself very well, but basically I carried on posting on TikTok all the way through the last 8 months. So if you want a proper rundown on what I've been doing, head over there if you haven't already. But that's where the questions are coming from. Oh God, the waffle is bad. So number one, what are your career plans now? Now, if you don't follow me on TikTok, you're not going to know that I quit my job. Big decision, scary decision, questionable decision, but it was the end of August and I decided that enough was enough. I was really struggling. I was working in the community mental health team where I was beforehand. I worked there for 2.5 years ish in total, and I really enjoyed my job. There was literally nothing wrong with my job at all. I think it's an amazing place to be, an amazing place to work. It's great experience for someone like me that was trying to work towards the psychological field, but doing a job like that is incredibly difficult when you're going through it yourself, when you're struggling yourself. It's hard. I found that I was thinking about mental health 24/7 because if it wasn't somebody else's, it was my own, and that was really difficult because I could never ever switch off. I also became really highly anxious at work that if I make a wrong decision, someone's life is at risk, and it just felt like too much responsibility. I lost my confidence with the job completely. I was so anxious and it was making me really unwell being at work. I would go a few weeks and like power through and go for it, and then I'd feel like I needed some time off sick. So I reached a point that I'd used up all of my sick leave and couldn't really take any more and get paid for it. And so I just decided that because I was stuck in that vicious cycle and I knew the job wasn't a right fit for me anymore, that the best thing to do was just leave and take some time away. I went back to work really early after Charlie's funeral. It was 4 days later because I was so concerned about finances, and that was it wasn't a bad decision. I will always back the decision because at the time that's exactly what I needed to do, and I was just trying to survive and to figure it out, and that was the way that I needed to do it. But on reflection, that really delayed my grieving process as well. So taking time out of work has been very helpful for me so far. I think like I'm happy with the decision that I made. I'm obviously concerned, I've got some concerns, but overall I think I've made a really smart move for myself. So in terms of going back to the question, what are my career plans now? I'm actually planning to take time out of work for a little bit, and in the new year, a few months into the year perhaps, is when I'll start looking for a job, something part-time, just to reintroduce myself to work. Anyway, a few questions about Charlotte, about my grief, only 4, I promise, feel free to skip them. Big one is, how did you meet? Myself and Charlie, we met at university. We moved into the single halls of residence at Coventry University on the 23rd of September 2017. We were next door neighbours in the same flat. There were 6 of us girls all together, and so we met on day 1 of university, and since then we were inseparable. Typical like uni love story thing that you would read in a book, but it does actually happen. So that is how we met. Next question, why did we decide to elope instead of having a traditional wedding? So we got married last year on the 23rd of September. It was 6 years from the first day that we met, which was really sweet. The reason we decided to elope, I suppose there's a few reasons that tie into this, and again I would have spoken about this on my channel at the time. We started to sit down and plan a traditional wedding where you invite all of your families, you have a big venue, you get married, blah blah blah. And it was so stressful, guys. I can't explain the stress that we were under, just sitting down and figuring out like who was going to sit next to who on the tables. That's as far as we got, because then we sat there and we looked at it and we thought, nah, this isn't gonna work. This person hates this person, they don't get on, and it felt like too much drama when actually all we wanted was for the day to be about us, and it was turning into this thing where the day was more about everyone else and making them comfortable than making ourselves comfortable, and we weren't willing to sacrifice that. So in the end we decided that we were gonna elope, and it felt really true to us, because whenever we spoke about getting married we used to say, oh, wouldn't it be great if it could just be the 2 of us and no one else was there? Well, actually it can be, because it's called eloping. So that's why we decided to do it. We ran away to Cornwall We eloped. We did tell people that we were doing it, all of our family and all of our friends. They were all aware, but it was just the two of us on the beach, and it was absolutely perfect. I wouldn't have had it any other way. Oh, this is one that I get quite a lot actually, but I've never really responded to. People often ask me, what should I say to someone who is grieving? Unless you've experienced grief, you don't really know what would be helpful. And even if you have, what's helpful for one person isn't helpful for another. And so my answer to this question and what to say to someone who is grieving, how can you support them, is just to ask them. Like, I know that sounds so like simple, but it is literally that simple. They will know what's helpful for them. Sometimes they might not. I definitely had a lot of decision fatigue at the start, and I still do sometimes now. I used to say, oh, I'm all decisioned out, I don't know, and I'd say I don't know a lot, but then in that case, just being there is helpful. Like if someone really doesn't know what's going on or what to do and I just can't think, just having someone sit there with them, knowing that someone's there, even if it's in silence, is so nice. So I think that's my answer to the question. It's just ask that person what they need from you, what they want from you, and just let them know that you're there, and keep checking in, because even if people don't reply, in my experience, even if I don't reply to your message, I still really appreciate receiving one. So yeah, that's my answer to that question. I don't know why I've avoided answering that, but here it is. Oh, just to give you a bit of context, I'm filming this on the 4th of November, so we're kind of moving towards the end of autumn. The Christmas stuff is out in the shops and everyone's thinking of the big C. And a question that I've been getting since then is, how are you going to manage Christmas as a first-time widow? And the honest answer is, I don't know. Usually when it comes to events, so for example, my birthday, our wedding anniversary, things like that, I make some time to go down to the cemetery, and I buy this packet of red velvet cupcakes. You get 2 of them from Sainsbury's. We used to love them. And I take them down to the cemetery and I sit down, I eat a cupcake and I have a little chat with her, and I feel like that's been quite useful for me, and it's almost formed a bit of a routine on a special event, and that's something that I would do. In terms of the period itself of Christmas, because I suppose that's the difference between my birthday and Christmas. Like my birthday is just one day, whereas Christmas, okay, yeah, it's one day, but it's a whole period. I couldn't decide whether I wanted to go all out or just hibernate for the whole of December. And I think the most useful thing to do is just take it bit by bit and try and land somewhere in the middle of that. There are still things that I would like to do, that I know that I enjoy doing them. Christmas light walks, cozy hot chocolates, films. I don't know about putting up the decorations, but I do enjoy aspects of Christmas, and I'm so lucky that I still have people in my life. I'm getting a bit sad. Ooh, sorry. No, I'm not sorry. This is just standard. If you're going to start watching my channel, then be prepared. But there are still people in my life that I can celebrate aspects of Christmas with, which is lovely. So there's still things that I want to do. And I think, like I say, I'm going to try and land somewhere in the middle. I'm going to try and do these things and do some stuff, and then have a bit of recovery time afterwards to like check in with myself and look after myself and make sure that I'm okay, because I am scared about Christmas, and it's obviously something that's weighing on my mind a lot. But it's the same as any day. I'm just going to try and muddle through and see how far I get. Oh, I need a minute, Jesus. Okay, I'm better now. Oh god, the thought of it is just so daunting. If anyone else is in a similar position, then I'm sure they'll agree. Christmas is going to be a tough one. I have 3 more questions to answer, and I'm going to try and whiz through some of them because I've been filming for a really long time, so I'm sure by now if you're watching you're probably quite bored. Question number 1 out of these 3, did you get a place in the London Marathon? Unfortunately not, but then I think maybe it's fortunately, because me, running, exercise don't really go hand in hand. I think when I signed up to the London Marathon for a place, it was a little bit of an impulsive decision. I wanted something to focus on. I was feeling a little bit sad, so I put my name into the draw and I wasn't picked, and I kind of think that that's for the best, because I can't imagine going out there now and trying to run. I mean, I just demolished a Subway, so I probably wouldn't. So yeah, didn't get a place in the London Marathon. Another one, what are some of your favourite recent purchases? Oh, I don't know. I've wrote these questions down. I've not really thought about them. I think that's why I'm quite rambly. I did buy a pair of shoes the other day, and this really isn't like me because I always stick to exactly the same trainers and have done for years. But I bought a pair. Oh, there's a learner next to me trying to reverse into a space. I hope they're not coming next to me. It looks like they could be. That's a little bit awkward. Never mind. Anyway, bought a pair of Adidas Gazelles in like a foresty green colour. I wasn't too keen on them at the start because the tongue in the trainer was hard and squeaky, but now it doesn't squeak anymore and I am getting used to them and I really like them. So a little bit of an out there purchase, but one that I'm really glad that I made. I think it matches all of my greeny autumnal wintry jumpers really nicely. And then last but not least, I have a question of any holidays coming up. Short answer, yeah, like a massive holiday. I have got planned a really big holiday for the end of this year, beginning of next year, which is something that some days I'm really excited about, other days I'm really like about. If you've been watching my videos on TikTok, then you'll know that I've struggled a lot with holidays this year. In June I booked a trip to Luxembourg and I wasn't even able to get onto the plane because the grief was heavy. It was in full swing. The anxiety was in full swing. The depression was in full swing. And a combination of so much stuff just meant that I couldn't go. And I had to come home. Since then I have done things. I've gone to the Peak District camping with my brother. I've been on a little solo camping trip. I went all the way to Munich in Germany to see Adele. I also went to Brighton and I filmed a trip. I filmed a video about that. I'm losing my words. I need to bring this to a close. But yeah, I've done a lot of holidays this year. I've struggled with them a lot, but I feel like I'm really getting back into the swing of travelling again. This has never happened to me before, but my camera has just flashed up and said that I've got insufficient space left on my SD card and I don't have a spare one because I'm not that prepared. So I'm going to bring this to a close here. I do hope you've enjoyed watching this. I'm sorry if it's been quite rambly. I am very out of touch with it and I don't speak to people that often, so I just like let it all out when I do. But I have enjoyed sitting down and filming it, and I am looking forward to getting back into my YouTube videos, rediscovering myself, like I say. If you've got any other questions that you would like me to answer, then please feel free to comment them down below because I can always do a part 2 to this. I kind of just picked some out randomly, but if there's anything in particular that people are wanting to know, wanting like advice on, I don't know, whatever, leave it in the comment section and we can have a little chat over there. But for now, I'm gonna go and hopefully I can edit this and get it up sooner rather than later so we can get back into the swing of things. But thank you so much for watching. I'm so grateful to anyone that's made it to the end. I need a medal anyway, but I'm grateful to have everyone here and joining me on this journey. And yeah, I'm ready. Let's do this. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe down below, and I will catch you very soon in the next one. Goodbye.